So we have helped a bunch of people move here from Florida. So we figured might as well do a video what it's like moving from Florida to Michigan.
There are a lot of differences. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. My name is Kevin Irwin.
And I'm Ross Young.
We are local real estate agents here in the West Michigan area. If this is your first time to our channel, we go over anything and everything that has to do with living and thriving here in the West Michigan area.
So if you're a first time to this channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe and also like bell down the bottom, and that way you get notified every time we put out a new video. Now, as much as we like helping people or making videos, we love helping people so much more than actually making videos, to be totally honest. And we are helping so many people moving here from Florida that this is our take on what the differences are.
Yes, absolutely. So if you are moving from Florida, make sure you reach out to us. We would love to chit chat with you. You can send us a text, you can call us, you can send us an email, even send the pigeon carrier if you have to. Whatever you have to do, we have your back when it comes to making a move here to Michigan. So let's go.
Let's go. So the first notable difference that we have encountered with people moving here from Florida is cost of living. You know, home prices can be anywhere between 30 and 100% more expensive down in Florida, which seems like an astronomical price. Yeah. Wouldn't you agree?
No, I would agree. And it's crazy because it's, you know, all different parts of the country has different home prices.
Yep.
You know, we do have a lot of people relocating here, not only from Florida, but from Texas, from California. And it is because our cost of living is lower here in Michigan.
Right. And we haven't seen much of a difference as far as grocery store wise from Florida to Michigan, not like you would find from California to Michigan. But, you know, as far as homes are concerned, everybody that's moved here has really thought highly of Michigan homes. They're like, I can't believe you get so much and so much area for what the price is. Now, staying on track with the homes, let's kind of talk a little bit about the differences in the style of homes that you would find from Florida to Michigan.
One big difference is the fact that almost every home here in Michigan has a basement.
Yeah. And it's fun because they're so common here. It's uncommon not to have it.
Right.
When people come here, they're like, okay, what do I need to know about basements?
Yeah. And like, they creep me out.
Right. They're creepy. They're cold. You know, sometimes they can be damp, whatever. So we kind of go through and, you know, explain what basements are, why we have them, and, you know, things to look out for, things like that. I mean, we're not building inspectors, but we do know a little bit.
Right.
So another thing that a lot of people say is down in Florida, everything seems to be so congested. Everything's so tight up against the road. The setbacks are so minimum down in Florida. But when you think about it, and here in Michigan, we get snow. Believe it or not, we get snow. Florida, you do not get snow. So when the plow truck comes through down the road, it blows all the snow into the front yard. If your house is right up against the road, guess what? All them stones and everything that are on the road, they're going to break windows.
Yeah. You're going to have to replace windows all the time, and siding and everything.
Yeah.
And your face. No.
And not only that, but a lot of people are mentioning, you know, the size of the yards. As far as when people say, hey, I want a good size yard, it's really difficult for us because we're like, okay, that's relative. What's a big size yard to you versus what it is to us? To us, a big size yard is probably an acre.
Right.
And to a lot of people coming here from Florida, they're like, no, if I had a third of an acre, that's awesome. And that's strange for us because we're more used to, you know, bigger parcels.
Well, and when you really think about it, a lot of the southern states that it's nonstop hot. Here we have the 4 seasons, so we actually can grow nice grass.
Right.
And I don't know about you, but if I was in a climate where we barely ever got rain, it was hot all the time, and my grass was always brown, I don't want a big brown yard.
Right.
So, you know, I think that's part of why we have, you know, when you come here, the houses aren't always on top of each other. Of course, there's going to be areas that the houses are on top of each other. But for the most part in West Michigan, you get outside of Grand Rapids, like center of Grand Rapids, most people have a very nice yard.
I would agree.
So, all right, moving on. So another big thing that we hear from people moving here from Florida is our weather. Michigan does have the best, I would argue to say the best 4 seasons in the entire country.
Yeah.
Because of our lakes, it just, I don't know, the 4 seasons are absolutely perfect here. We only have a couple weeks during the summer where it's 95 degrees. Sometimes it goes over 100. Most of the time it's in the 90s. This year, I think we had a lot longer stretch than we normally do. You know, we're in Florida, and that's funny because we have a client moving here from Florida, and he was up here last weekend and absolutely loved the weather. weather. And then we were texting back and forth. And he's down in Florida again right now. And he's complaining because it was 97 degrees or whatever it was and super humid. And then, of course, Ross texts him, oh, it's only 72 and not humid here. So,
Right.
that is a big reason, I think, why so many people want to move here, because it's a lot more comfortable.
Yeah, not only that, we do get winters here, but with the Lake Michigan, you actually accumulate more snow in West Michigan than you would anywhere else in the Midwest. And for a lot of people, that's what they're looking for. They want the snowy Christmas. They want the deep snow. And West Michigan has a lot of that to offer. So you have summers, which mild to hot, very similar to what Florida is.
Yep.
I would say, but just kind of a step lower.
Right.
Then
not
we have
quite as intense.
Right. Not the surface of the sun as intense. But then fall starts cooling off a little bit. You have a lot of days in the 50s, 60s, things like that. During the winter, it's very cloudy in Michigan. That is one thing that is the downside for our weather, is that during the winter months, it's gray. Yes. It's very cloudy, and it's kind of depressing.
One thing that, if you do plan to move here, whether you're from Florida or whether you're from any of the southern states, during the winter time, a lot of Michiganders get depressed, and that's because they're lacking vitamin D. And that's because the sun barely ever comes out because of Lake Michigan constantly pushing clouds over and overcast. The few times that we do have the sun pop out when it's snowy, make sure you have a good set of sunglasses, because it will blind you.
Yeah. Yep. And springs are fantastic, because you've had all the months of kind of gray and gloomy, but I think the saying goes, you can't appreciate the light without the dark.
Exactly.
And I think that's part of the reason why Michigan summers are so incredible to us, especially when you live here, is that every day is bright, it's sunny, we get a lot of clear skies during the summer.
Yep, absolutely. And it's funny because Michiganders will, when we get done with a really hot summer and fall's here, and we're like, oh, I can't wait for snow, I can't wait for snow, I can't wait for snow. And then about halfway through winter, we all hate it. We're done with it. We want it to go away. We want warm weather to come back.
Then we go to Florida.
Yeah, exactly. And I know some people, even my uncle, he lives in Texas, and he will come up here during the winter time to be able to go skiing, where a lot of people that are in Florida come up here also to do that. But then all of the Michiganders that are true Michiganders that have been here forever, they all want to go to Florida during the winter.
Yeah.
So it's just funny.
Kind of goes back and forth.
Right.
So I think on this topic, we should kind of talk a little bit about what the landscape is around West Michigan. What would you find as far as differences between Michigan and Florida?
Well, for one, Florida has palm trees. We do not.
That's true. Florida's palm trees. Florida seems to be really flat.
Yeah.
And, they have the Everglades and stuff, which I think that would kind of be a similarity, because we have a lot of wetlands in Michigan. As many of you probably don't know, there is a lot of wetlands. We have 11,000 lakes in Michigan.
Over 11,000
Over 11,000 lakes. And so the Everglades down in Florida is very similar to what we'd have up here, only just on a different climate scale. What you're going to find in Michigan is going to be mostly hilly. No, we don't have any mountains, unfortunately.
We do in the peninsula.
Upper Peninsula, but they're small.
Yeah.
But you're going to find rolling hills. People that have visited here, they're like, it's so green, it's so beautiful, I can't believe it. It's just absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah. No, and depending on where you move to around the Grand Rapids area, the southern portion is going to be a little bit more farm fields, a lot more open spaces. You get north of Grand Rapids, when you're hitting Rockford, Cedar Springs, Sand Lake, Sparta, it's going to be a lot more trees.
Right.
Very, very green.
And we'll put a link for our north versus south video in this video as well.
Absolutely. So I honestly think that's a big, big reason why people are moving here from Florida is the weather. So one of the other points that we have heard from people moving here from Florida is the traffic. Our traffic is absolutely not even close to certain parts in Florida. We're just going to throw Tampa on there just because we've had somebody move here from Tampa. Tampa has double the population that Grand Rapids does. So our traffic here is really, most I ever sit in traffic is about 35, 40 minutes.
Right, and that's a long time for West Michigan.
And that is, I live in Cedar Springs, about 30 miles north of Grand Rapids, just for comparison purposes. So if it only takes me an extra 30 minutes, that's really not that bad when you're talking to some of the people that we talked to. They're sitting in traffic for 2 hours to
Right.
get 10 miles.
Right.
They're 10 miles away from work, and it takes them 2 hours to get to work.
And a lot like what we've talked about in other videos is that Grand Rapids, all of West Michigan is set up kind of like a grid. Say northbound 131 on a Friday night, which happens every weekend during the summer, is gridlocked.
Yes.
You just jump off and take side streets. I mean, you're still moving. It's a lot less frustrating. But I would also argue that people in West Michigan are a lot nicer than other parts of the country. We have a very hospitality kind of nature about us. Right. I would call it.
We actually say hi.
Right. We say hi. If you're trying to merge into traffic, people let you in. I've been to a couple places around the United States where that just doesn't happen.
Right. Well, there's times that I don't want to let them in.
Right. Well, I mean, we all have those moments, but nonetheless. So I think now we're kind of talking about the grid pattern. It is very simple to get to all of Michigan's water features. That's another big difference between Florida and Michigan is all of our water features. We have Lake Michigan directly to the west, and obviously being on a peninsula, much like Florida is, we are surrounded by water.
Yes.
So when you go out to Lake Michigan, you can't see the other side. You can't see Wisconsin. It pretty much looks like an ocean.
Yeah, and we call them lakes, but really they're oceans. I mean, they're so big. We don't know much about the depths of Lake Michigan, similar to the ocean where you can't really get down there because of the pressure. So realistically, and I think that might be another reason why so many people like Michigan from Florida, because they still can get similar features and feels
Right.
of the water life.
And there's a big boat presence here.
Yep.
If you want jet skis and things like that, then there's a lot of lakes. There's a lot of water. There's a lot of opportunities for that too.
One of my wife and I's favorite place to go during the summertime is Muskegon. Muskegon it's just beautiful. The beaches are beautiful sand. They have a bunch of different bays that you can anchor your boat at and go eat at the deck, go eat at some of these really nice restaurants, and then go back and get on your boat and go back home.
Yep. And plenty of rivers. So, I mean, you can even drop in a river and float right out to Lake Michigan.
Yeah. And I think they're getting ready to do a project going through right through the middle of Grand Rapids. The Grand River has a bunch of dams in it, and they're going to be taking those dams out and allowing boats to go through the center of Grand Rapids. I can't wait for that. That's going to be so cool.
That's going to be awesome. Now, since we're talking about lakes and wildlife and stuff, let's kind of talk about what you would find as far as, animals and stuff around here. Right. We have a lot of white-tailed deer. We have a lot of turkeys. I get people asking me, what about bears? What about mountain lions? Well, down here in the southern part of the peninsula, we don't really see a lot of bears, mountain lions, or anything like that. You find them more north. If you get north of Big Rapids, you're going to start finding more bears and stuff. Mountain lions, really not. Yeah,
it's not a big presence. No.
We do have coyotes. Same thing north of Grand Rapids. You find more coyotes than you would on the south side.
My wife and I will be sitting there. We've got the slider open, and then all of a sudden, it's almost like a bunch of sirens, just and it's just a pack of coyotes, and you feel like they're right up on you, but they're really miles away.
Right.
It's an eerie sound.
But we don't have to worry about crocodiles. We don't have to worry about snakes. There's only maybe 1 or 2 poisonous snakes in Michigan, and I don't really remember seeing them in the near.
No,
I've
never seen one, and I'm 33 years old. So
right. So as far as snakes and bugs and stuff, another thing we got to touch on is bugs.
Bugs.
We were down in Miami earlier this year, and I gotta hand it to you. Them bugs were massive. They were huge. And, compared to what we have here in Michigan, the bugs were plentiful down there. And here in Michigan, we're definitely blessed that we have winters that kind of kills off all the bugs and stuff. And
it kills them off before they get to baseball size.
Right.
Or in Florida, they just keep growing.
Yep. And so another thing to touch on is cockroaches. I know cockroaches are pretty prevalent down in Florida. Really don't have them that much up here, and thank goodness for that.
Yes. So what we're saying is you're going to still have wildlife up here. The main thing you got to worry about up here is hitting deer at night.
Yes.
I have hit probably 6 or 7 deer in my lifetime.
Jeez.
Yeah, dude, it's the Northern Territory. There's deer everywhere up there. I've totaled 3 cars with deer. Yes. And that is not my fault. They jump out and they scare the ever-living daylights out of you.
Right.
That's because they see the headlights and they're like, And they freeze. We're getting off subject.
On to the next subject. So as far as wildlife is concerned, there's a lot of hunting opportunities. Fishing is very prevalent in West Michigan. You got 11,000 lakes to choose from for bass, panfish. And also the Great Lakes have a lot of salmon, a lot of steelhead, and they're actually running this time of year. So I think we'll be doing that this weekend, actually.
So if you love fishing in big open waters, there's plenty of charter companies to choose from for you guys to bring your family out and go catch a big fish.
Absolutely.
So if you are looking to move here from Florida, obviously we are your guys. Make sure you give us a call. We would be more than happy to help you guys move here. Take it from all the other people we've helped move here from Florida, and they're super happy here. Yeah.
Without any further ado, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the like bell, and also we'll be putting out more of these videos. We're going to be doing the lakeshore here pretty soon while the weather's still warm, and kind of showcase those areas for you guys. And I think that's going to be a lot of hot spots for a lot of people moving here from Florida.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you guys want to see what winter's like, we do have a couple videos from last winter, but we're going to do some more outdoor videos this winter, kind of. Oh, yeah, we are. Yep. So that way you guys can understand what it's truly like here in the wintertime. So,
absolutely.
All right, guys.
See ya.
Talk to you soon. Bye.